Hello YouTube, what is up? This is ACNL Insight. Today we're going to be covering the Mayor Approval Rating System. Basically, when you first start your game, you're not going to be able to act as mayor until you have 100% approval from your citizens, and also you pay Tom Nook your 10k bell deposit on your home. So basically, I'm going to be going over how to get 100 points by telling you what you can do and how many points it will give you, and if you can do that multiple times. When you are doing Isabelle's advice, you will be receiving some points along the way, but when you are done with Isabelle's advice, when you receive your watering can, I would suggest that you hold off until the next day to do a lot of these, because you won't receive points for them and you will have to do them again. One thing you can do is actually send letters. So she suggests you send letters to villagers. Sending letters was interesting because I got 4 points each for the first 2, and then if you send 4, you get 15 points. I'm not sure how many you would get if you send 3 letters. I wasn't able to test that because I got 100 points before I could verify. So 4 letters will get you 15 points. And then that's definitely a good head start if you would like to do that. And so I would suggest after Isabelle's advice, if you're still on the same day, you can send those letters. So all of these things you can do after you have done Isabelle's advice and you've waited a day, and you get 3 points for logging in to play. I would suggest going to the town hall because you can then go and change your town tune. You don't have to change all of it. You can just change like one note literally. If you are feeling lazy and just want to get the points, you get 3 points for the town tune one time. You can also change your town flag, and that again, you can just select any of the custom ones that you are given at the beginning of the game, and you will get 3 points once for that. Or you can go in and change it to a custom one that you create, and I'll show you how to do that as well. If you post something up on the bulletin board by the train station, then you should get 3 points as well one time. And you can literally post up anything, just put like hi or something. It doesn't really matter, it's just, you know, showing you the feature that you can write something up there. And visitors who are coming in from other towns will be able to see that. So if you want to write messages to other mayors, like in my main town, I have my rules for my town up there. In case people look there, they can see what, you know, I do or do not want them to do in my town. If you put something up for sale on the flea market, then you can also get 3 points one time for the first time you do that. And the first time you donate anything to the museum, you will get 3 points one time as well. And it doesn't matter how many items you donate, as long as you donate one item, whether it be a fossil, fish, bug, or art, then you will get 3 points one time. Next would be something I would suggest highly is speaking to the villagers. You can get 1 point, 3 points, or 4 points. Basically, if you are meeting a villager for the very first time, you will get 3 points for meeting them, and then you can't get any additional points for that day from them. But if you speak to a villager one time, just like a greeting, you get 1 point for that if you already know them. And then if you talk to them more, I would say talking to them like 3 or 4 more times, and you should get 3 additional points. You know, it used to be that you'd have to do a request for them, but now it just is automatically giving points once you go out and speak to them a few times. At least that's what happened in my game. I know that Yuka, you know, I didn't even have a prompt because sometimes they'll ask you questions like, you know, what's your favorite color or something like that. And if you answer the prompt, then you will get the 3 points. But I spoke to Yuka and I kept talking to her, trying to get her to have me answer a question or do something for her, but she just did not, and I checked and it still gave me the 1 point for talking to her initially and then the 3 points. So I got 4 points from that. And that's something that you can do with each villager every day that you're trying to get points. So it's not a bad deal. You start off with 5 villagers, and since Isabelle makes you meet them, you will get at least 20 points if you speak to all of them in length, and then you usually have another villager moving in, so you will probably be able to get 23 points just from that on the first day after following Isabelle's advice. Now, here's where there were some discrepancies in my towns. Basically, I got 2 points from my one town when I watered 20 plants, and I was checking after each flower in this town. So I watered 7 regular flowers and 1 wilted flower, and I got 1 point. And then I watered 10 regular flowers and I got another point. So at first I thought, okay, so it has to add up to 10, either 10 regular flowers or 7 regular flowers and a wilted flower if the wilted flower counts as 3. So maybe you could like do 2 wilted flowers would count as 6, and then plus 4 regular flowers would equal 1 point. So I thought I had an equation down. However, in my other game, I actually had to go out and water 20 flowers, and 1 was wilted, so 19 regular flowers and 1 wilted flower, and I only got 1 point from that, and it was on the 20th flower. So that, I would say, is not really an efficient use of time. So unless, you know, your flowers are wilting, I wouldn't really bother with that, because it was kind of a hassle for me to check after every flower, you know, after watering 40 flowers. So for all my effort, I would suggest, unless you're really bored and want potential 1 point, then I would just skip watering the flowers. Also for weeding, I weeded in one of my towns 10 weeds, but I only got 1 point, and the 1 point was actually after the second weed I pulled, not the first weed I pulled. So that was very strange. So I was wondering if maybe every 2 weeds you get a point. It was not. And then I was wondering maybe it's exponential, like maybe you weed 2, then you have to weed another 4 and you get a point. It did not work. So it looks like maybe you can only get 1 point for weeding on the second weed, because in my other game I had pulled 2 weeds and that's all I could find. The first weed did not give me any points, but the second weed did. So I'm not, you know, 100% positive, you know, whether or not you can get additional points. It doesn't look like it, but you know, if you have like 1,000 weeds, then maybe you could, but at the beginning of the game you wouldn't have that. So I would suggest definitely, you know, if you see a couple of weeds, pull them, but don't go around and pull all your weeds, because it looks like you'll only get 1 point for that. So on the Doof Crossing, it says that you get 20 points for paying off the deposit on your home. I did not receive any points for that. However, there was this weird instance that I'll probably be putting in the video. I basically got 12 points for talking to a villager after I had paid off the loan that comes after the deposit. So first you put down a deposit of 10,000 bells, but then you have a loan of 39,800. After I paid the 39,800 and I moved on to the next day, then I checked my mayor rating and I had 88 points at that time. Then I spoke to one of my villagers and I walked back to Isabelle and she said I have 100%. I'm pretty sure that villager's conversation with me did not give me 12 points. So my only assumption can be that something has to trigger the points that comes from paying off the 39,800 bell loan, but that is just my opinion from what happened. I can't really be sure of that. I was not able to find any trash in my river or my beach, so I can't confirm whether or not you still get a point from doing that. If you do find trash, take it to retail and dispose of it that way, because then you should get a point from that. My suggestions would be to play each day. Even if you can only log on, you'll get a few points for that. Talk to your villagers, because that's basically free points, you know. 3 or 4 free points is pretty nice compared to trying to run around and watering like 40 flowers or something like that. And then also write letters if you can, because that also gives you around 4 points each. And then do obviously those one time where it gives you 3 points, because that's 15 points if you change your town tune, you change your town flag, put something in the flea market for sale and retail, put something up on the bulletin board, and then donate a fish bug fossil or whatever to the museum. So those would be my suggestions. Well, that's it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys, and I will see you later in my next video. Bye.